Two went out by Duncan for a while, and then one out past Dallas. He was quite the entrepreneur.
And he was a pioneer in irrigation too. I mean,
Well, he was the first one to ever cement his ditches. Most of the ditches are dirt, dirt ditches. But he cemented all his ditches in. And then after they released him from being bishop, they put him in the state presidency. Never got arrested.
Out of the frying pan.
After 20 years of being bishop, he became state presidency.
20
He
years.
was first counselor.
Oh my God.
His brother-in-law, my Uncle Jack, was the president.
Mm-hmm.
It was a family affair. And after he was released from bishop, Mother became the Relief Society president.
Oh my goodness.
And she was that for a long time. And I would go with her. She'd drive around and visit some of the poor ladies in the ward that needed things. And I'd go with her to a lot.
yeah. I recall being very impressive. They both went on a mission together.
They went to the Southern States mission. And that's where Daddy served his mission too, to start with.
Yeah.
Oh, I never did tell you. I didn't finish telling you the story. I was talking about giving that talk.
Uh-huh.
I was talking about my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And after the talk was over, the Ruth says, you know they're here listening to you, don't you? And I said, what? He said, yeah, they're sitting right over here behind us. Right up there in the front. Our wheelchair was right up in front of the pews. He said, they're right here behind us on this pew. I'm going, how do you know? I just know they are.
How about that?
You could just feel it.
What was the story that you told? I must have missed that part.
I was supposed to talk about keeping the Sabbath day holy, and I talked about my dad when he was a bishop. Then he had to irrigate on Sunday. He would irrigate, and then he'd change it to his Sunday clothes and run to church and do the priesthood meeting and stuff. Then run home and irrigate some more. Then go back for church later. And then I likened that to like Jesus when he was at the pool of Bethesda and he healed a sick guy on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Did it on Sunday. All the Pharisees and stuff got after him for healing someone on Sunday, which was against the law. So I told that to say sometimes you've got to do stuff on Sunday. If the cow fell in the hole, you dig it out on a Sunday. You don't make it wait till Monday to get out.
I feel like your parents know how to work.
You know it.
And I feel like that's a lost art.
Well, you know they got married back in the 30s, 1930s, when it was that big, what did you call it? Where there wasn't any money, nobody had
the
Yeah,
Great
the Depression.
it was during the Great Depression, and they learned how to work. They worked hard. And Daddy's mother was a widow, and she raised 4 or 5 boys all on her own. Didn't have any girls. No, she did have 2 girls, but she had 6 kids, and 4 of them were boys. She raised them all on her own. His mom.
Yeah.
The dad had gone on a mission to the southern states and got malaria or something.
Oh my
And when he got
goodness.
home, it killed him.
Wow.
Hello? Come in.
And he peeked in.
I never knew him. I never met him. What you doing, Daisy?
Juliet's been talking this whole time for like the past 10-15 minutes, holding up what I thought was a big book, and her and Devin were reading it. And
Fun on that farm.
I had a lot of fun. I didn't have to work like the boys did. They were chopping cotton and irrigating. Although sometimes when they were herding cows around in the field and changing them to a different field, Daddy would come get me and make me ride a horse
Yeah? Just to keep them in line?
to help herd them around. He had this one horse named Hopper. I hated that horse. And he'd always put me on old Hopper, because Hopper did, he says, all you need to do is sit on there and hold on. Hopper knows what to do. I go, why don't we just let him do it? Why do I have to ride? So I'd be holding on for dear life, and that horse zigzagging back, chasing the cows. It terrified me. I was terrified. And then the minute they got them all herded to the next field, Hopper would turn around and head for home. And I couldn't stop him. I couldn't follow. That's it. Pull the reins back. Pull it back. I could not stop that stinking horse. And that happened to me about 3 or 4 times. And they all just laughed. Oh, it's so good. But he took me home and he stopped right there at the shed where they take the saddles off at night. I just hopped down and leave him there and run into the house. They would all laugh at me because I was afraid of the horses.
With a name like Hopper, it sounds like he hopped around or something.
He was a really smart horse, yeah. And energetic, yeah. He was yellow.
Yellow, huh?
Yellow.
How about that?
With a black mane.
Huh.
Daddy really liked him though. He was a really good horse. I think most of his horses were half wild though. He liked them like that. They were more energetic. All ready to go out in the snow.
I was just
Piano player in Pima.
Yeah?
I went to my Aunt Delsa's for piano lessons. She was her husband was Phil, Daddy's brother. And they lived on the opposite side of town from me. And my mother taught me for a long time because she was a real good piano player too. But then she switched me over to Aunt Delsa and would drive me over there and drop me off, and I'd have to walk way back home. It was like 2 miles. That's just too far. But it was fun because I'd stay there and play with my cousins for a while. She had a couple of girls that were my age. And by the time I was in 7th and 8th grade, I could play better than her.
Wow.
So I told Mother I didn't want to take piano lessons anymore because I could play better than that Delsa. That shows you what a little snob I was.
some sass.
She agreed though, she let me quit. I probably should have kept going, but when I got to EAC, I took lessons again from that music teacher at EAC. He was a really good piano player. I don't know, can't remember his name.
Yeah, I had no clue.
What are they? Oh, donuts.
Would you like a donut?
I still got some banana nut bread there.
So, did you start playing the piano tons for people back then when you went to EAC? Or?
Yep. I was the piano player in Pima.
Mm-hmm.
I was. As soon as I was in the 6th grade, I could play out of the hymn book. They made me the Sunday school player.
Yeah.
And then
In the
after-
6th grade?
Great.
Yeah, I was 12.
It's amazing.
And then, yeah, I hit that piano playing running. Because I had 3 older sisters, and they all took piano lessons. Mother'd stand over and go, no, that's a flat. And I was sitting there watching them, and by the time I got there, I already knew I knew all the songs, I just had to learn how to play them.
Yeah.
And I could, I went right through it. And then after I played the piano for a year or 2, they made me play the organ. Mother was the organist, so she took me to the church and gave me a church key so I could unlock the door and organ key. She showed me how to play the organ in about 5 minutes. You play smooth, you don't play staccato. But when I went up to BYU, I learned how to play the organ correctly. There's a lot more to it than most people think.
Well, that's always one of my favorite memories is you playing the organ on Sunday mornings as a kid and going to church and seeing you up there was always really cool.
We figured it out starting from when I was 12. I played either the piano or the organ for church till about 5 years ago. So I'm 80 now. That means from 12 to 75. How many years
Oh
is
my goodness.
that? Seriously. Every Sunday. Even up at BYU I played. Once they find out you can play the organ, boy, you've had it.
Yeah. That is true, and there's even fewer people who play the organ and the piano now too, I think.
I think you're right. It's becoming a lost art.
Yes.
Piano lessons are expensive, and you have to practice.
Yeah.
And now there's so many other things like video games and TV and stuff going on that nobody wants to practice.
Mm-hmm.
And since I lived on a farm and we did not have a TV, I practiced all the time because it was fun.
And, it was
And
your
my mother
music.
let me do that instead of washing dishes. My sisters had to do the dishes while I played the piano. And it was wonderful.
No wonder you got so good.
I did it on purpose so I didn't have to do dishes. The only problem was my dad would come in after lunch and take a nap every day, and I'd be pounding on the piano. Poor man. He never complained though. But thinking back on it, it must have been hard to take a nap while I was pounding away on the piano.
Depends on what you were playing. It might have been relaxing.
When I was a little kid, it was always loud and noisy. 'Cause that's the way I liked it.
You were a rock and roller, huh?
Kara's really good at piano and organ now.
Yeah.
She plays for her ward every Sunday too.
Oh, nice.
And she comes here and she plays for me from memory a lot of hard songs like Claire de Lune and Leave It Strong. Yeah. I go, wow, Kara, how'd you get so good? She says, I just like to play, so I play all the time at home. But she couldn't play that good when she left here.
Yeah, I wish I had spent more time with you doing piano lessons,
You should have.
but I was too wild of a boy.
You were.
I just couldn't do it. I couldn't sit down for piano lessons.
Jared finally got pretty good.
Yeah.
He didn't mind practicing, but he's the only boy.
I don't know. I needed a different technique or something. I didn't even like music when I was taking piano
Well,
lessons.
that's the thing.
I didn't listen to the radio. It didn't even click with me till a couple years
You're all
later.
about Batman or something like that.
Yeah, Batman and Robin. That's about all I cared about. Spider-Man and Batman.
It's true.
I actually considered buying a online piano course just the other day called Piano for All, but it just teaches chord techniques similar to Sarah does. So you learn the chords. They teach you several different patterns for playing the chords, and then it's like you're a guitarist. You just have your chord sheet, and you ad-lib your patterns with the chords, and you can play anything, type of thing. And so I still play a little piano, but not quite as much. In fact, I just bought a new piano, an electric piano, a chord.
Jen's mother was a good piano player. She played for church all the time too.
Yeah. I miss that.
Yeah,
I miss hearing her practice all the time.
yeah. I went to BYU with her about 2 or 3 years in a row. We went to the music workshops up there.
Yeah.
And you guys were there together?
Yeah, we went
Yeah,
together.
before we met.
Wow.
They would carpool and roommates and
Because I
stuff
played
like
in
that.
solo and she played in Lakeside. And, yeah.
Who is this?
Oh, Grandma Johnson.
That's cool.
And she brought Sarah with us 1 year too. That was fun.
So all the parents knew each other before we knew each other. And so when my dad found out who I was watching from a distance, he's like,
Yeah.
"Go marry that boy."
That's good old Bert. He was playing basketball at the church.
So I owe you for that, Mom. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who knew the piano skills played into that?
I noticed a picture of your kids on the piano. You have any piano lessons?
I do, yes.
Good.
I do. There's a lady in our